G'day and welcome to Queensland Weekender. Mate, I've got a question for you. What is the best way to get to a beautiful island off the coast of Queensland?
Boat.
No.
Plane.
No, none of these. Believe it or not, we're getting there by train.
You're kidding me.
Yep, it's all part of a fantastic idea from Queensland Rail Travel, and we'll tell you more about it later in the show.
Can't wait.
Let's go. Also on today, exploring a different side of our beef capital.
All aboard as I step back in time in Rockhampton.
Luke and I take the fast train to one of Queensland's most beautiful islands.
I think I found my new favourite spot, mate.
And Liz is enjoying the feeling of skydiving without the jump. But first up, here's Chris.
Rockhampton proudly calls itself the beef capital of the state. But long before it earned that title, it could also lay claim to being Queensland's chief regional city. So if you're travelling through and you are a bit of a history buff, there is plenty to uncover.
Rockhampton's grandeur is on full display in Quay Street, where almost 20 historic buildings survive. They give a real sense of the city's status as the region's major port during the 19th century gold rush. A deeper appreciation of the city's past can be gained at the Rockhampton Heritage Village. It's set on 11 hectares and has a huge collection covering 1850 all the way to 1950. Rose Swadling is a local councillor and a huge supporter of the village.
It's a real passion of the people of Rockhampton to tell those stories, to share those stories with people around.
I think it's important we share that and we build on what we have. And I think a classic example is the love and the passion that our volunteers have, because, you know, they live and breathe it.
A great example is Peter Finnegan.
Let's just jump in.
Yeah, mate.
Beautiful, let's go.
Peter's passion is restoring old cars for display.
So what is this beautiful old girl, mate?
1924 Overland, Chris.
24.
Yeah, that's, you could do a bit of mathematics there. That's about 92-year-old.
As Peter gives me a tour, I'm just in awe of the scale of this place.
The fire station here, that's virtually one fireman's collection of fire brigade memorabilia.
I feel like I'm in a town back in the 1890s. Does this make you proud that it's all come together so beautifully with all these people?
It does, it really does.
Come and see for yourselves what the volunteers have created. It is truly special. The village is open every day and costs just $14.50 for adults.
Well, not to be outdone, back in town is the Archer Park Rail Museum. It tells the story of the development of rail in the region. This beautiful station goes back well over 100 years. But the highlight for many, this old girl here, the fully restored Curry steam tram, the only one that works on the planet.
And on Sundays, guess what? The staff love to take it for a spin. The Purry steam tram operated for 30 years from 1909.
They got rid of them and put buses in. And in those days they called it progress.
Alex has worked in rail for 50 years and loves nothing more than driving this old girl.
Why is it important for you to tell these stories of rail in this region?
It's history. And it's the history of Queensland. It's also the history of Rockhampton.
There is so much more to discover at the Archer Park Rail Museum. It's open every day except Friday and Saturday, and admission is just $9.50 for adults.
So if you want to keep that heritage theme going on your holiday, can I suggest staying at the Regent Hotel in the centre of town? It was built in 1898 and has to be one of the grandest buildings in the city.
And if you think it looks good on the outside, check out the 4.5-star rooms inside. And with a pool, bar and restaurant to enjoy as well, you're sorted. If you're after more info on the hotel and all the places I've visited today, head to the Capricorn Holidays website.
After the break, I'm about to fly without the fear of falling, I think.
I have been skydiving before, and I can tell you there is nothing like the exhilaration of free falling. Now that I'm a new mum, I'm not quite so inclined to jump out of an aeroplane. But who says I have to? iFly on the Gold Coast gives you all the thrill of skydiving without the serious altitude. A high-tech glass wind tunnel simulates conditions in an actual skydive. No parachute required. I'm super keen to get in there, but as always, safety comes first. So relax. That's a pretty obvious one.
Yep, most important one, that's for sure.
Jeremy Brazier is one of the original instructors here on the Gold Coast. What can I expect when I'm in there?
It's such an unreal feeling. You just jump in there and just instantly you're just weightless. It's a feeling you really can't get anywhere else.
The wind tunnel itself looks so spectacular. Talk me through the equipment.
So basically it's two really big fans which pump wind through the tunnel. It just recirculates right through. So the whole idea is you have a fresh bit of air to jump into, straight from the door.
When you're falling from a plane at 15,000 feet, what speeds are you doing?
But you can reach speeds up to 200 to 300 k's an hour, so it's quite fast.
And then what's the fastest speed you can do in here?
And here we match 260, so it's pretty close to that.
It really does replicate that feeling.
Totally does, yeah.
So can you start me off on beginner speed?
We'll start in your belly on nice low speeds. Yeah.
Anywhere up there, please.
No worries.
I'm fully briefed. It's time to fly. That was amazing. When you do a tandem jump, you're kind of along for the ride. But in there, you're actually flying.
Totally.
I loved that. Thank you so much.
All right.
Wow. For a first timer, I did okay. But check out the moves from an indoor skydiving champ. Incredibly, 13-year-old Sarah Yates took up iFlying just over a year ago. I am just blown away by how good you are. I feel like I need to ask you for your autograph now. You are a star. Do you just love it?
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Her talent is even more amazing given the fact that Sarah manages a challenging medical condition.
So my body thinks that there's an infection in my bones, but there's not, so it's fighting an infection that isn't there.
So what does that mean for everyday sports?
I recommended to not do jarring sports, so this is a perfect sport for me because you're not touching anything.
Tell me about where you've taken this sport.
So I went to the Nationals in 2016 and came 4th in the junior freestyle.
Wow. And I think you've just got a natural ability to fly, my lady.
Thank you.
You must have been a bird in your last life. What do you reckon?
Yep.
If you'd like to experience the feeling of flying without an aircraft, head to the iFly Indoor Skydiving website for details. And if you're an RACQ member, you can book a session at a great discounted price. From flying high to festival fun, the Gold Coast is the place to be. From the 7th to the 11th of June, nostalgia kicks in as Cooley Rocks On comes to town. And for the first time, all daytime entertainment is free. The festival celebrates all that we love about the 50s and 60s right in the heart of Coolangatta. After the break, we meet a local farmer from Killarney with a passion for her community.
Everyone's working their farms and they're busy and they're running crops and animals. Everyone is doing a little bit to contribute to the community.
And the boys are taking an unexpected mode of transport to one of Queensland's much-loved islands.
Cheers. I'm Lyndall McCormack and I live here in Killarney. This whole district is a really energetic place. You know, everyone is doing a little bit to contribute to the community. Come on. Well, I think about, you know, my forebears who came here. You know, we're probably 4th or 5th generation farmers here now, and what I think about the sacrifice they made. They came from the old country and set up in this tiny little part of the country. And it's, you know, they ploughed the land and they raised their families and they went to church and they built a township here and they did really tough things. And I really feel like now that I want to keep that feeling. I want to be able to do those sort of things myself. I like to do the things my grandmother did, you know, cure bacon and make hams and preserve foods. And I guess that's why we do it. Almost every meal we sit and look at the plate and go, what did we grow here? It's a great sense of achievement, it's a great sense of pride. The mountains are just, you know, they're on a day like this, to me they're like a movie backdrop. They're like cardboard cut out clear. The air is so clear, they are just crisp. And I just love that. And I like looking at the familiar parts of the mountains that I know. And there's a real sense of comfort with that. I must say I'm very glad of all the places in Australia that my ancestors chose. I'm glad they chose this place because it does have a lovely cold winter. Like we're Queensland, but it's really beautiful here. Of course, I just love the frost in the mornings. I like to go out and see the icicles hanging off the barbed wire in the mornings, and the fog comes down the valley and it follows the river and it sits over the water and over the waterways, and it's quite ethereal and quite eerie. We love this place for the beauty, but we love it for the community too. It's that kind of place.
She's one of Australia's fastest trains. Cruising up to 160 clicks an hour, Queensland Rail Travel's Tilt Train is a super speedy service between Brizzy and Rocky.
On the outside, she's flat out, but inside, things are pretty relaxed.
Oh, holy moly, how comfy are these seats?
They are great.
There's heaps of room.
I know, and you even get a complimentary juice on arrival.
I can't beat it. Talking about juice, you got a USB point for this?
Mate, I've got one better. I have got a 240-volt power point.
Oh, winning. Throw that in there for me.
No
Thanks,
worries.
Mate. Plug in your own gadgets, or pop in the earphones and watch top movies and TV during the journey. If what's on screen doesn't grab you, there's always that fantastic show out the window.
And how's this for being spoiled? In business class, you choose from the menu, and lunch is served to your seat.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, mate, what'd you get?
Teriyaki chicken, mate, you can't go past it.
That looks good.
What'd you go, the old corned meat, mate?
Corned beef, can't go wrong.
That is true.
Dig in.
As good as mum's. Tastes real good, eh? Really nice. Oh, yeah.
The Tilt Train makes travel easy. No road signs, no traffic, no worries. And you can even stretch your legs. Feel like a coffee or snack? Stroll into the galley and friendly QR staff will sort you out. Whoa, yeah, rock up. Hey,
G'day.
mate, how are you?
Good, how are you? What can I do for you?
Would I be able to grab 2 white coffees?
Not a problem.
Thank you.
The bloke behind the counter is Daniel Hand, and I reckon he's made a coffee on a train before.
Thanks for coffee, mate.
My pleasure.
So a little birdie's told me that train travel's actually in your family.
Yes, so much so my father, my 2 sisters and a couple of uncles have all been involved in the railway at some point in time over the last 40 years.
Molly.
Family affair.
Yes, very much.
So you must obviously love your trains then?
I do, I enjoy my trains very much.
How good is it to travel? Get up, go for a walk, stretch your legs, have a coffee,
Exactly
but you don't
right.
have to stop your travels. You're still
Exactly.
going to get there. Just
and
as
come
quick.
up for a chat.
Yeah.
Coffee, bickies, a good old chinwag, and before you know it, we're at our destination.
G'day. No worries, thank you.
Have a lovely day.
We're here, mate. From Maryborough, it's 30 minutes by coach into Hervey Bay. This cruisy town on the Fraser coast has cafes right along the esplanade. It's also the base for great family holiday experiences like humpback whale watching and the world's biggest sand island, beautiful Fraser.
Stick around, because that's where we're headed after the break. I think I found my new favourite spot, mate. It is beautiful.
Yeah, I was telling you it was good. From tip to tail, Fraser Island is one long stretch of awesome. Luke and I can't wait to go there again. We've turned up early to catch a ferry from Riverheads. And guess who else is heading over? Geez, the people you meet on holidays. It's a meeting of reality shows here at Hervey Bay. We got Steph and Dan, winners of MKR, and Luke and Cody, of course. House rules. So, guys, what are we doing today?
So we're heading off over the island. It's at our back step, and we like to get over as often as we can. It's a great spot.
What a prime day.
Weekend off.
Beauty.
We'll go to Fraser Island.
We'll catch up with Steph and Dan on board. Fraser Venture runs regular services to the island, and it takes 30 minutes. Enough time to swap a few reality show stories.
Took a week off work and we wrote, we went out, we practiced to our mum and that. Can't give away too many secrets. Anyway, before you know it, we're at Fraser Island. And see that big gold bus? She's our ride, thanks to Fraser Explorer Tours.
All right, so welcome to Fraser Island, guys, the world's largest sand island. So just the numbers for you. It's 123 kilometres long, and on average, about 15 kilometres wide.
Boy, sounds like we got a fair bit of island to explore today, don't it?
Yeah, it's massive, mate. I didn't realise it's so big. Lucky Craig's here. And lucky he knows his way around. First stop with our new mate Craig is Central Station, an old timber camp from the 1920s.
It was actually a bustling little town. There's about 200 people that lived here at one stage. So for the ladies, big, strong Australian men, okay? And these men, which wasn't just men here, they had their families here. It was like a little township.
This place was all rainforest before the loggers moved in. But a beautiful pocket survived, down by the Wangurlba Creek.
And these ones, First settlers and the loggers that were around here, they also called it Invisible Creek and Silent Creek.
I can understand why.
Absolutely. So a kilometre and a half away upstream, there's a little spring bubbling up. It's saturated the sand around it, and it's saturated enough that it can actually start flowing.
So Craig, what's it go with this huge fern that's here?
Yeah, so this fern is the Angiopteris victor, or the king fern.
I'll stick with king fern, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so it's one of the oldest and largest ferns on the planet.
Mate, how nice is this water?
You think this here looks good? Wait till you see our next stop, Lake Mackenzie.
Never been there before.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
Yep, Cody nailed it. Lake Mackenzie, where have you been all my life? Well, Craig, I can really see why people love Lake Mackenzie. It is beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of the gem of Fraser Island.
I can't get over how white the sand is. It is ridiculous.
Beautiful and soft. You can clean jewellery with it, you can exfoliate with it.
What can't you do? All sorted.
Absolutely.
Oh, Luke, hurry up.
And basically, the bottom of the lake is lined with vegetation. That traps rainfall. And everything we see behind us, beautiful, warm water is all rainwater.
Warm, even on a windy day like today?
Absolutely, yeah, it's still 23 degrees in there, mate.
23 degrees?
Yeah, you better get in there, eh?
Oh, better.
Oh, mate, first time at Lake Mackenzie, what's your thoughts?
Mate, I think I found my new favourite spot. Yeah. Who would have thought this beautiful lake would be in the middle of an island?
Yeah.
All this sightseeing makes the bloke hungry. Lunch is at Yurong Resort, over on the island's east coast.
Good old fish and chips and a steak sanger. Can't beat the classics. We'll need the energy, because this afternoon, the tour hits Fraser's 75-mile beach.
This long, sandy highway gets pretty busy.
But not everybody is going places.
Hey guys, so this is the shipwreck of the Mahino. All right, it's got a lot of history about it. It used to be an old passenger liner that would sail from New Zealand to Australia. Everything on board was first class. It was absolutely luxurious.
Not much has changed.
Right, and it was actually really fast. So beautiful big brass propellers. So back in World War I, the New Zealand government took over management of it and they converted it into a hospital. So I went off to Gallipoli and Europe and rescued the Anzac soldiers from those places.
Yeah, so it went from first class liner to a hospital.
Absolutely.
Holy moly.
A state-of-the-art hospital, mind you.
Yeah.
All right.
Luxury, state of the art. That's what they say about our last stop. Kingfisher Bay Resort has a sunset tradition we won't miss.
Well, mate, this is our farewell to Fraser drinks. It's a bit sad, isn't it?
Don't you worry, mate. We'll be coming back, that's for sure.
Damn, cheers to that.
Cheers.
You. So long, Fraser. Time to put our feet up back in Hervey Bay. Oceans Resort and Spa is just the ticket after a big day touring.
It's got comfy 1, 2 or 3 bedroom apartments with all the mod cons. Plus, big balconies and even bigger views of the Great Sydney Strait.
And it's just a short stroll to the beautiful Urangan Pier. Gotta check that out before we head home.
Feel like a Fraser Coast holiday? Queensland Rail's travel 4-day package includes return tilt train tickets, coach connections from Maryborough, 3 nights in Hervey Bay and a Fraser Island full-day tour.
For great rail offers on this package and many more throughout Queensland, visit queenslandrailtravel.com.au. For more great ideas, take a squiz at our website. You can also keep up with our travels on Facebook and Instagram. And make sure you bookmark queensland.com, RACQ and Queensland Rail travel websites. Luke, did you know this is actually one of the longest piers in Australia?
It is pretty long, mate.
Yeah, check it out, like actually goes all the way back there.
All that way?
Yeah.
Looks like it's a pretty big hotspot for fishermen too.
It does. I reckon we should go over, try and pinch a fishing rod off somebody and see if we can catch a fish ourselves.
I reckon we can get a couple of whiting.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's all we've got for you. We'll see you next time on Queensland Weekender. Catch ya.